Well, everybody's heard of The Sound of Freedom, a fantastic name for a movie, by the way, and its box office success is a wonderful thing for everybody who wants freedom of the individual and an end to child sex trafficking. Now, the movie has an interesting history, and it seems as though the media of today does not want you to go see it. And I really actually want to know your thoughts in the comments below as to why you think that is, if you agree with my analysis, and why Walt Disney initially shelved it. The Sound of Freedom was originally set at 20th Century Fox and was completed in 2018 before Disney acquired the studio the following year and then promptly shelved the film. The question is, why in the world would they shelve this film? And the founder of Angel Studios stated, to me, this is perfect timing. I do believe this, if this movie had come out earlier, I don't think the audience was ready. Right now, unfortunately, there's advertisement for this film, but on the wrong side. Every day, there are these atrocities happening on the news everywhere. Children are being trafficked. Sexually abused children are all over the place. That is a direct quote from him. So Disney owned the rights of the film with no plans to release it. Angel Studios bought the rights. They took it to Amazon. They got turned down. They took it to Netflix, who, of course, released Cuties and tried to turn that into a glorifying depiction of the sexualization of young girls. This is what the media is pumping out there and what gets critical acclaim. But of course, Netflix turned it down. So what the studio decided to do, they decided to pre-sell tickets, and they were able to get it into 2,600 theaters, and they managed to beat out Disney's Indiana Jones on July 4th, normally the time reserved for the summer's biggest blockbusters. And Tim Ballard, the man whose story this was based on, managed to rescue these children in real life. Indiana Jones's budget, $295 million dues. Sound of Freedom, $15 million. Indiana Jones, released in 4,600 theaters, managed to collect $11.5 million on July 4th. The Sound of Freedom, Angel Studios, released in 2,600 theaters, collected $14 million, meaning that in about half as many theaters, it outpaced Indiana Jones by almost 30% in revenues. That is a fantastic haul and a commercially successful film that has created a tremendous profit. Now, the challenge that I have is that the media is calling it QAnon. The media is trying to disincentivize the average person from seeing this movie by associating it with something that is a no-no, that the media has told you over and over again is a conspiracy theory. And here are some of the headlines to prove it. Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. The QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. That's from Rolling Stone. The Sound of Freedom is a box office hit whose star embraces QAnon. In other words, don't go see it, says the Washington Post. From The Guardian, The Sound of Freedom, the QAnon-adjacent thriller seducing America. Don't you dare be seduced, America, and fall into the conspiracy trap. You are going to get your conspiracies from us, like the Hunter Biden laptop is Russian disinformation.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know
this is I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is.
You don't know, yes or no, if the laptop
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was stolen from me.
If you have the vaccine, you can't catch it. You cannot spread it.
The various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Yeah. These are the conspiracy theories that we want you to believe. Jezebel, Sound of Freedom, is an anti-child trafficking fantasy fit for QAnon. Oh, as though child trafficking doesn't take place, because I'm going to tell you something. I have seen it up close and in person. The first time I was ever in Cambodia, I believe it was 2009. And my taxi driver on the way back to the hotel from seeing some sights, decided in the evening and these very dark streets. Now, I imagine that Phnom Penh has increased its lighting since, but back then it was dark. And he stopped in front of this house. And I did not know what we were doing there. And out of the house, they brought before me two 11-year-old girls with makeup and high heels on. And I was utterly disgusted. And I said, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with this. And we got back into the cab, and I was furious with the cab driver for having stopped and exposed me to this. But it doesn't mean that I didn't see it. It doesn't mean that maybe I should have some conscience and try to rescue those girls, but I didn't really feel like being killed in that moment. This is the risk that guys like Tim Ballard, they actually go and they free these children. And here's Jezebel saying that this is a fantasy fit for QAnon. Why do they not want you to go see it? And my other question is, why did the Disney executives shelve this film? Because there are two possibilities. Either they're terrible at their jobs and they deprived Disney shareholders of a great sum of money, critical acclaim, and a luster being recreated around their brand as being pro-children, or their execs want to hide the child trafficking that is going on, that they are in favor of it. I'm not saying which one it is. I'm just telling you that these are the two options that I see. And I would love to have your opinion in the comments section, please, as to which it is or whether or not there's another possibility. The point of this is that despite the media's best attempts to vacate the theaters via their propaganda, via creating the association with QAnon, this is still a smash hit in the theaters. And many more people are seeing it. Why? Because it rings true in the human heart that these atrocities must be stopped, that the despicable action of the child sex traffickers must be put an end to violently if necessary, and that God's children, as they say in the film, are not for sale. And I fully agree with that. And I wish I could go back to Cambodia and free those girls over a decade ago. And it makes my heart shudder a little bit to think about what has taken place in their lives and how they've been abused. But for the media to come out and say that this is a fantasy, that this is a conspiracy, that this is something to avoid, what about raising awareness that this is taking place and taking the positive action of freeing these children, as Tim Ballard has done, as this movie will do, and shining a light on it? And why are all these Democrat institutions and establishments trying to prevent the knowledge of this? Why? Because they prey on the country having a lack of morals, just to be seduced into their communistic garbage that only they can provide for you. And only if you give them power will our problems be solved, as they basically turn a blind eye to Jeffrey Epstein. You think that we don't know about Jeffrey Epstein and the child sex trafficking? How come we don't even know who was on the island? That list has never been produced. I don't know. Why was Jeffrey Epstein suicided in jail? He was killed. We all know it. It's the most likely event that took place with 99.99% accuracy. We can all state that that's what actually happened. They've been silenced. They are trying to silence America, and their psyops are no longer working. So I encourage you to go see The Sound of Freedom and put your money towards a cause that is good and just, so that more such movies are created and we can retake the cultural high ground in America versus the Marxists that want to destroy the norms and cultural values that have made America great. Make America great again.